Welcome to Shiny Jets Podcast. I'm your host, CEO of Shiny Jets, Brett Perry. I hope you're flying shiny, and if not, you're definitely in the right place. So let's talk about flying shiny, okay? All right, guys, so we are talking about oxidation in paint today. It's a big topic. It's probably the number one thing I do as far as detailing. So aircraft paint actually oxidizes quite quickly compared to car paint. So car paint, it's not as porous. It's not the same as aircraft paint. So I've actually had some well-respected, not detailers, but companies like heads of companies that are big in the auto detailing industry tell me, oh yeah, aircraft paint is so much harder. No, it's not. Hey, sorry, we're live, so I'm going to be commenting about, with the live viewers as well. And if you guys are on here, want to ask any questions that I could add to it in regards to oxidation removal, feel free. All right. We got some people hopping on here. Give me some likes. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast, right? Shiny Jets Podcast. Anyways, so had him tell me that aircraft paint was harder. That's actually not true. It is not harder. It is more resilient in the fact that it doesn't scratch as easy and it's more forgiving, right? So kind of like gel coat. I don't know if you guys know gel coat, but it's less likely to scratch versus car paint. Like you look at like a black car, you look at it, it scratches. It's just how it is. So another, not even analogy, a reference. If you put car paint on an aircraft, what actually happens is you'll see it. You'll notice someone that painted their aircraft with car paint, and the reason being is when they go up to elevation, it's really cold, and then it's hot down on the ramp or whatever. Those paints don't expand and contract enough, so they actually just kind of pop off the paint. You'll see the clear coat popping off the paint, the auto paint. So it doesn't actually work. So aircraft paint has to be able to expand and contract over and over again and not crack. So I think of it more as like it's dirtier. It just sucks in stuff because it expands and it contracts. The pores expand and contract so much that they're pulling in contaminants. There's contaminants on the surface, microscopic, and then it gets warm. Those microscopic contaminants get in the pores of the paint. Then it gets cold, and it sucks them into the paint. Negative 75 degrees Fahrenheit and that's the coldest I've seen at 40,000 feet. I know it gets colder. I don't know. I don't fly private that much. Anyways, so with aircraft paint, if you don't ceramic coat it, I always recommend that the aircraft should be polished yearly to maintain that gloss level. If not, over the years, it's going to deteriorate. And if you are actually cutting the paint, compounding to remove oxidation, it is not going to last. It's not going to last. You'll start seeing oxidation again within 6 months. Guaranteed. Inside, outside, does not matter. Oxygen actually oxidizes the paint as well, right? So, that being said, if you do compound the paint on an aircraft, it really should be ceramic coated, unless it's one of those, a broker's like, hey, make this thing look good, get it out of here. I'm trying to get it out of here sold, right? So, I mean, we've done that before. It's like they're not going to spend the money for a ceramic coating. They just want that curb appeal, that gloss, that shine. We'll cut it, remove the holograms, boom, looks great. Okay. So if you are compounding, pretty much the only way to combat having to polish it every single year, or generic methods, we'd wax, quarterly just to maintain that and polish once a year, is you're going to ceramic coat it. So that's the thing. Even a hangered plane that was badly oxidized, that I was able to get the oxidation out, the oxygen is still just going to oxidize it. I've actually buffed out planes, finished on Friday, like heavy compounding on a jet. Come back, everything looks good. I hit it with the prep spray. So prep spray is going to pull any oils out of the paint from the polish or any fillers. And if the gloss is still the same, then I know when I hit it with that prep spray that it's corrected. So did all that, prepped it. I was like, cool, we're going to come back and ceramic coat on Monday. Come back on Monday morning, light oxidation already. I'm like, oh my gosh. So went over it again, just a light polish. It wasn't bad. Went over it and actually, and then prepped it and ceramic coated it. It was fine. So every time, like, it's not going to last as long as a brand new paint job. It's not going to, especially when you're cutting that heavy. So another reason I wanted to bring up this topic is what I see a lot of other detailers in my area, ones that I've run into. No, not Americana. So they will get hired to polish out a plane or buff out a plane. So they'll take, let's say compound. So they'll take compound, they'll take a wool pad, and then they will buff the plane. So they take compound, take a wool pad, they'll buff the plane, and they'll just go over it. Oh, wow, looks better, right? And then they'll polish and wax it or ceramic coat it, and then 3 months later, 4 months later, it looks the same. So same thing with the polish. I've lost jobs because my prices were higher, but they weren't doing what we were doing, and I wasn't able to get at the customer. It was through someone, you know what I mean? They don't want to deal with me, right? So, and the other detailer actually took a polishing pad, a polish, and polished the plane, and really didn't do anything. Just went through the motions, not actually fixing or correcting the paint, not actually checking to see if they could get more gloss out of it. And because I can get it back to originally how glossy it was every time, unless the paint is just too far damaged. So if it's not there, if I can't get it with 2 or 3 passes on the wool pad with compound, it's done. And usually if I can't get it in one, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this thing's got rivets, it's got vortex generators. I'm going to burn through the paint getting this oxidation out. Not happening. And what I'll do is I'll just sell them on a gloss enhancement where I don't physically have to get out all the oxidation. I can wash my hands of that, right? So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been noticing. So, seeing work from other detailers, and so obviously, yeah, they're going to be cheaper. Oh, they're cheaper. They did a polish like for thousands cheaper than shiny jets. Of course, because you're not doing it right. So, that's why I'm doing these podcasts. That's why I do these videos, to try and help educate the aviation market on what it actually takes to restore the cosmetics on aircraft. So, oxidation removal is a big deal, and if you figure out how to do it right, you can save your customers a ton of money. You can save them from paint jobs or push off paint jobs 3, 4, 5 years. And so that's less downtime than a paint job. And when a paint job happens, there's always issues. There's always issues. They're going to, find other issues. There's going to be issues. There's delays. There's all sorts of stuff. Aircraft never come out on time from a paint shop. Not that I've dealt with. There's just always something. There's too many variables, and so it's totally understandable. How they paint aircraft, it's pretty impressive. So, paint shops don't like me, but I like them. I love their beautiful paint jobs. I'm always admiring their paint jobs, and So, anyways, we're going off on tangents. We're gonna keep this one short and sweet. And thanks for tuning in, guys, on Instagram Live. And we will catch you later.